Oh, folks, much to do. We got a lot of, well, not a lot, but we got some appetizer conversation. Before we get to the creme de la creme, last we left off the Celtics, right?
Celtics.
And this was that we broke it up into two pieces of three.
Three. So we're on the end of 6, the beginning of 7.
So did they already hear two?
Nope.
Oh, that's coming up.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, so we're gonna round out with the Celtics, and we saw the movie The Accountant 2. Yes. So that's the meat and potatoes is the Celtics and The Accountant 2. But we do have some appetizer conversation.
Spears and Steinberg. You know what the it is? Aries and Andy, Jew and the Jerk. You know it's time to get this work. The real raw, gutter, uncut, cold. No political corrections. Always sleep. Being awoke. We discuss politics and jokes. Cry, we lit. There's levels to this before you was on your mama. Aries Spears don't give a fuck. We talk about race a lot, racism. Much love to my loyal bag holders, rollers, loaders. We got them in the folders. The whole world on our shoulders. Spears and Steinberg. Yeah.
One of the things we definitely want to talk about is obviously this Rodney Hinton.
Ryan Hinton.
Is it Ryan? No, it's Rodney.
Ryan's the one who got shot, though, wasn't it?
Who are you talking about, Ryan?
I thought it was Ryan.
Rodney Hinton, the black dude who killed the cop,
but
who
his
didn't
son
kill his son.
The son, though, I think his name is Ryan. I think.
And we got, look, it's on the screen. Thank God we got Mark back. Rodney Hinton.
Okay.
Is the father.
Sorry. I thought, I don't know why I thought Rodney. Ryan. Sorry.
No. And then a couple other small things, but let's get to let's before we get heavy. Let me jump ahead a little bit. So when we went and saw The Accountant 2, what are you looking for?
I'm just looking.
I know, but I hate when you get on your phone.
Go ahead.
I think it takes your focus.
I'm listening to you. You're already talking about The Accountant 2, which we're supposed to do on the next episode, which you're already talking about.
What are you looking for?
I'm closing this out so it doesn't go out
I'm waiting for you to close it out. There you go.
Jesus.
No, Jesus. Because, dude, when you get on, it's hard enough for you to concentrate focused. So when you on your phone...
No, you just don't think people are listening to you unless they're looking at you.
Andy, it's hard for you to concentrate without a phone.
Okay.
So on the phone...
I've been doing this 600 episodes.
I know, and sometimes you drop the ball a lot. So focus.
I don't think so.
Okay, we will agree to disagree with my agreement.
Okay, we'll agree.
Okay, thank you. So we went and saw The Accountant 2, and they showed previews for a couple...
You know what, though? Is it going to go like this all day?
What do you mean?
I don't know. You came in and you have this...
Don't worry about me.
I'm worried about you. We're starting...
Hey, brother, I know how to be professional. I'm being professional. Don't worry about my temperament. We gonna flow. Just flow.
Okay, but I don't want to flow.
So what are you worried about? You think there's a heaviness?
Yeah, you already started. I don't know what your problem is.
There is no problem. I just hate when you get on your phone.
Stop hitting the table.
I hate when you get on your phone. Okay. I've been doing this with you long enough where I know, when you are focused, you're not focused. So on your phone, you might miss certain things.
We haven't even got to the heavy stuff, and you're already heavy. That's the problem.
Okay, well, you putting it in the heavy direction.
Okay.
Woosah. I'm good. So we went and saw, God damn it. So we went and saw The Accountant 2. And they showed a preview for the new John Wick. I think it's called Ballerina.
Ballerina. It's to play off the Ballerina that we went and saw to get to the in John Wick.
Well, I knew I said once upon a time ago that I was almost Ballerina. I was almost John Wicked out. And then they showed this preview, and 90% of the preview, what's the chick's name that's starring? And there it is, Anna de Armas.
Yeah, she's hot.
They show her in 90% of the preview doing what Keanu's supposed to be doing, and I went, yo, Keanu's not in this, and I went, if this is what they're doing, she's the new John Wick, and it's the chick doing what Keanu was doing. Yo, I'm out. I'm not going to see this. And then towards the very end of the preview, he is in it. But I don't know what role he really plays in it. I think she's like the lead. And I think he comes in, based on how they showed the preview, I guess he's either coming in to kill her, stop her, or whatever it is. I guess he plays a small role in this. And then I went, all right, I'm back in. Now, as much as I said I was John Wicked out, I realized it's like that saying, you don't know what you have until it's gone. When they showed the preview and I'm not seeing him, I went, nah, I need Yah back in it. I need Keanu in it, man. You know, and they show him. So I don't know how big of a role he plays, but if this is the direction they're going in, dude, come on, man. Come on, yo.
I disagree. I mean, as long as they have the same people who made the other John Wicks, it should be a good movie.
Did you hear what you just said? As long as they have the same people minus the main guy.
Dude, what's his fucking name?
Okay,
Keanu Reeves can't act.
But that's not why you go see that movie.
I know. You see it for the fight sequences.
It's crazy man food.
This is the difference. See, you don't believe that woman could kick your ass, but he believes that woman could kick his ass. So
he sexually would want her to kick his ass.
So it feels right to him.
So are you in or you out for the movie?
You gonna go see it?
Yeah, I'm asking you. Are you in or you out?
You know, when you said John Wick out, it looks interesting. I think she played that one movie that I said wasn't. I think we saw with wasn't it Ben Affleck and her, where she plays the wife, and he's cheating. She's basically cheating on him with the guys.
Are you talking about Gone Girl?
No, it was a different movie. But anyway, she's in it. She's she played Marilyn Monroe. I think she's.
Oh, I know her. I've seen her.
So I mean, just because I'd want to see her, I'd probably go see it.
Yeah. Mark, I know you're already in. You just said you.
Dude, I'll watch that. Dude, Keanu Reeves sucks.
Does he?
Not in that.
I know, like, I do like him in John Wick and stuff, but, man.
I said it before. He's not a great actor, but he makes great movies.
Yeah, who else? Who in your head, do you see anybody else playing, what's his iconic role now? I can't even remember the name of the movie.
John Wick?
No, not the other one. Matrix. Who else plays the Matrix?
Anybody could have played that role.
No, because originally they went after Will Smith and he turned it down. I can't see Will in that role now after Keanu did it.
I could see him doing that.
And then they showed the preview for the latest Mission Impossible. Dude, I'm telling you, man.
You almost shed a tear.
Why?
I saw you when he came out.
Who?
When Tom Cruise came out, I saw you. You went like this.
Oh, yo, he looks old now. Father Time finally got him. Because this been around for what, 50 years? And Tom just, up until recently, he's always been ageless. And when you look at him now, you go, yeah, Father Time went, Tom, come on. It's time, man. It's time. You could see it on him, man.
His body's even changed. Like the shape of his body's changed.
He's still in shape. He got that old man in shape body.
Yeah, right.
Like Stallone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. Tom, I'm telling you, this is just life going.
But see,
you next.
But I mean this honestly. How hard do you think it is, like, for Tom Cruise, for Helen Mirren, where she's got this boost to popularity as she's older, but you have to see yourself age on screen like that. Is that hard, do you think?
I would think so, because, it's documented.
Yeah.
And, that's the big screen where, everything is giantized. And, especially when you go back and look at some of your younger work. It's
That's what I mean.
Damn.
You see yourself in it. When I see old pictures of myself, I'm like, damn, what happened?
Even when they showed the F1 preview, the Formula One, Brad Pitt.
Oh yeah.
And when he puts on the race car helmet, then you see nothing but you see the crow's feet, man. It's like fuck.
But I think Brad Pitt looks better right now than he did just a few years ago. A few years ago, he got like shiny and stuff. I don't know if he's getting work done or I don't know, but he looked better in this form. I think he looks more natural now. He doesn't look as preserved.
All the heroes is getting old, baby.
Dude, go back and I think I told you that movie. It's the fishing movie. It's one of the first movies I saw Brad Pitt in, and it is just it. Dude, he's like. I was like, why did I get ripped off in life? Why don't I look like that? He's an unbelievably good-looking man in that movie. A River Runs Through It. A River Runs Through It was the name of the movie.
I thought you were talking about, and that was...
Pull it up. River Runs Through It real quick.
No, with Brad Pitt?
Yeah.
No, what's the, legendary... Falls. What Legends? What is it? Is it Legends of the Fall? Fall. What is it?
Rivers Run Through It is the one that I wanted to. This is an earlier movie.
What? Now that's me up.
Legends of the Fall?
Legends of the Fall. Nah, son.
No,
Legends.
but
I know River Runs Through It, but Legends of the Fall.
when he's a little older and a little more.
No, that was Brad Pitt as Brad Pittiest. When he had the long hair, looked like a young Fabio.
Yeah. I know which one you're talking. But look at him right there.
Pristine, nigga. That skin
Look at
is
that.
pristine.
And he's an excellent.
How much has been thrown at him?
Do you think though, if honestly, and if it came at you the same way that I'm imagining it comes at someone famous, Hollywood, young, good looking, in shape, do you start just going nah? Do you just go nah?
I'm sure the novelty wears off. Too much of anything, it starts to lose steam. All right. On to something else. So I posted this post. Comedian Anthony Jeselnik was being interviewed, and he was talking about crowd work. And I wanted to get your take on this. Here's what he said. And listen, man. As students of the game, we're all in the same hustle. So there's a respect factor for anybody that picks up the mic and does what we do. So I got respect for Mr. Jeselnik. But, and listen, I've never really talked to him, walked up to him, hey, man, how you doing? Had a conversation with him. So I don't know him like that. But from the outside looking in, I remember I was on a plane one time and he was, a couple rows from me. I just kind of I get a smugness about him, like an air of, I could be wrong. I don't know for certain, but I kind of.
Is it him when you see him in interviews, or just him as his comedic character? Because his character has a smugness to it.
But I get that sense even while he's not on stage.
Okay.
But here's what he said about crowd work specifically. And what bothered me is he used the word garbage.
I don't know what stand-up comedy is. They say, well, you ask someone what they do for a living, and then you make a joke on that. Or you ask someone how long they've been in a relationship, and I think that's garbage. So I just don't do it. Get mad that my hour's shorter, but I'm not going to get into that crowd work, the audience is the show kind of thing that comedy has become. 5 years ago, I would have happily taken questions and messed around with the crowd.
And, I said in my caption, just say you're not good at it. But to totally denounce it and dismiss it as garbage, that specific word is like, anybody that does crowd work, I think it's garbage. It's like that is part of the art form. That in and of itself is an art form that's a part of stand-up. Everybody can't do it. There are a lot of people that obviously are trying to do it now because of, again, page out of Matt Rife's book, because for two reasons. One, you don't want to burn your material, and crowd work is something that's disposable because it's spontaneous. And two, because for people who don't have a name, who aren't famous yet, who don't have a TV show, who don't have a movie career or a TV career, it's a way to put themselves out there on a platform where everybody's doing this all day, every day. So I get why people are doing it, and there are some people, like anything else, that are oversaturating the market that are doing it who aren't particularly good at it. But again, they're doing it to put themselves out there, and they don't want to burn their material. But for those who are great at it, me, and I hat off to the people who I studied, D.L. Hewley, Joe Torre. It's a part of stand-up. It can be, it should be. It's an art form. So to denounce it and on it like that, I think that's disrespectful.
I don't think that's what he did. I think you're
Garbage?
taking it personally.
He said garbage.
Yeah, but if you listen to the whole thing and you didn't get the beginning of the question being asked, what he said there, I would have gladly done this 5 years ago. He said, but he brings up the example where people go, hey, what do you do? Where are you from? And he's using that as what has happened is people have made it a generic form.
How else do you get into it? That's the introduction to getting into it.
I watch you do crowd work, and I don't watch you do it that way.
No, but I often go, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
What's
How
your
you
name?
doing? Yeah.
What do you do for a living?
Yeah.
But
But
we got to start with a, hey, ma'am, how you doing? I'm so-and-so. Can I buy you a drink? Before I just go, lift your skirt, show me your...
But that's the point. If someone came out and did a video and said, "Hey, all you got to do is walk up to a girl and go, hey, pretty eyes, I like your smile," and that's basically the opening line. And every guy from now for the next year and a half goes up to every girl and goes, "Hi, pretty eyes, like your smile," and that's what's happening with comedy. People who don't really know how to do it, it doesn't feel comfortable, it doesn't look comfortable. They don't only rely on those things, and they're putting out these videos because they want to do the formula so people see them on social media. That's what he said.
Well,
He goes, 5 years ago, I would have gladly done it. He doesn't do it now because he doesn't want to be connected with that undeveloped comedy.
I think that once you get past, which only takes a second, once you get past the initial, how you doing, what do you do for a living, it's where you go from there.
But I think he's speaking to those people that that haven't mastered the art form, that know how to draw stick figures, and that's what they're throwing out on paper. It's like when I see people that draw Basquiat images, and they don't look like they're contributing to the art form. They're just trying to knock off something that's already there. That's what I think he's talking about, because the specific way he addresses it at the beginning and the end. I don't think he's saying that. Ian, what's the Canadian comic?
Ian Bag.
Bag, yeah. Ian Bag's excellent. He doesn't do, hey, he might say, hey, where are you from or whatever, but his whole act is based on a crowd work scenario the whole way through. But there's a professionalism in there. There's an art to it. He's not just doing it and you know what? He doesn't put a bunch of videos out there. I think he's talking about the people that don't have the skill set and are using it just to get likes and clicks online, because that's what's needed to get attention. I really think that's where he was at. Only because of the way that he said it in the beginning, how he phrased it in the beginning, and how he said, 5 years ago I would have done it. And we brought this up. I love Rife. I think he's very funny. He captured that part, and he does it well. But there's so many copycats because they think that that's what it is to be able to do this.
Well, I mean, listen, and I think at the end of the day, that thank God for the people, because the people are the ones who weed that out. You know, if you're not great at it, and you're not a Matt Rife or whoever that's great at it, the people will let you know.
Yeah, but you only get good at it by doing it. This is where it gets.
I think you can only get so good at it, because at the end of the day, I think you have to have it. I think that is a gift. And if you don't have the gift, how good can you really get?
Well, you're right. You have to have some innate ability to do it. But I really think that that's what he's speaking towards, because he's on it's a podcast and he's talking about it. And I know the question. I didn't see the podcast, but I know the question had to come up for him to give out that opening line of how people are doing it. And he's being very specific of a certain way that people have basically carbon copied the idea of this is how you get into crowd work and this is how you do crowd work. And I've seen videos of people, different comics, just asking those questions. That's it. They don't get any deeper. They make a few jokes, and then that's it.
And then the next comic goes up, wasn't in the room,
and does the same thing.
Does the same thing.
And yeah, if you're in New York or in LA and you go into those rooms and those people aren't, and they can't because they're going to other shows, but then they walk up and they same person. Hey, what do you do? Well, we've already been through this. It's not a unique form. I understand what he's saying, but watching yours is different. Like you just said, who else did you say? Guy Torrey.
D.L. Hughley.
And I said Ian Bagg. Those guys are geniuses at what they're doing. It's different. It's different when you capture that idea of how to do it. But you're not going up there with the standard, hey, what do you do? It doesn't do anything. And I think I think it just makes a lot of opportunity for people to get clicks. That's it.
Right. Okay, Rodney Hinton. Whew, here we go. Before I get your take, listen, man, I've said it a million times, and I'll always say it. I never, ever, 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 ever will condone killing cops. It's just not good. And I think ultimately it could be horrendous for us. That being said, it's almost like I don't know how to respond to this without seeming like I'm justifying it, because I'm not. I'm just saying we're tired. Black people are tired. We're tired of the marching. We're tired of the praying. What has that gotten us? Now, one of the main aspects of this is people go, well, eye for an eye, but yet he didn't even kill the cop that unalived his son. He killed the cop who wasn't even supposed to be working that day. That just came in and, you know.
He was directing traffic.
Directing traffic. Wrong guy, wrong place, wrong time.
He killed a traffic cop?
It was the sheriff who was directing. It was apparently he was off duty.
So, and you know what the wild part about this is? I would expect a lot, even though there's a lot of black people who are going, yo, that's wrong, it's f***ed up, he took a man's life who had nothing to do with it. But I think in terms of, if you were to take a poll, while there are certainly a large amount of black people who are saying, yo, that's foul, there's more black people that are going, I ride for Rodney. You know, go fund Rodney. Let's do a GoFundMe. There are more black people, I think, on his side than not on his side. Whereas there's an abundance, as expected, of white people going, man, that's wrong. But what's surprising to me is quite a few pockets of white people I've seen on social media going, Rodney was right. So I'm like, you know, usually where it feels like there would be a racial divide where it's like obvious all the black people are for Rodney, all the white people are against Rodney. It's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag. But still, more black people are siding with Rodney than not. More white people are against Rodney than not. But there are people on both sides that are going either way.
Yeah. I don't know what the polls are on who thought it was right and who thought it was wrong. You're killing someone who had nothing to do with it. It's wrong, man. But here's my problem, and I took a look at it. I talked to people, I read, and I wanted to. I think the media again doesn't represent things quite clearly. This man who lost his son, they said one of the things I read in the media is after seeing the video, distraught, he ran over this man and killed him. He was a sheriff. I thought he was off duty. Then I heard he wasn't off duty, but he was on this traffic duty. So he wasn't a cop on duty, and he was just directing traffic. But what I read then later is that when he came to see the video and he couldn't watch it, the dad was distraught. He lost his son.
Well, they said he saw it. That's what really sent him over there.
He saw the video, but he couldn't watch the end. He never watched the end. I don't know if he's watched it now. I don't know. Right. But what I read is that he never was able to watch it. He had him turn it off. He left the room. He left, and he was so distraught. And then that happens. Now, we're not talking about a man who was just, when we said vengeance, he didn't see it. This wasn't just about. This is about a man who lost his son. And as I unwind from that, this kind of becomes racial because it's a cop, a white cop shooting a black kid, and that's where it is. And is this? And before it even got racial, with what he did, he ran over a cop, and this is where I tend to see where. Let's look at some of the other problems. The police came out to support the slain officer who got run over. But did you see the police? And I don't care. I saw what you wrote. Look how angry they looked. If there's a lot of black cops in the Cincinnati police force.
They only showed 2 there.
Yeah, that's a problem too. Because what happened is that made it more racial. You took something that you could have said, hey, running this guy over isn't racial. This is about killing a cop. But where was that support? Why wasn't it one white cop, a black cop, white cop, black cop, if it's a brotherhood? And then, because we're talking about the Celtics, I'll go to this. And we talked about this that's in the upcoming episode. I don't think it's come out yet. When Bird and who did he get in a fight with? When Chief stood back and let the fight go?
Oh, Dr. J.
You know why they're fighting. You know that it's wrong. But sometimes you take a step back because all the other stuff that went on with it. And that's what I'm asking. Was there not a lot of black police presence there because They know that this is a problem. We've talked about this. Why don't the good cops put out the bad cops? And I'm not saying I'm going back to the other video. The video, we can argue about that. I haven't seen a good video.
Well, a couple things. They said one, because one of the things that, when you read the comments, white people kept going to was he stole a car, he had a gun, and he shot at police. Turns out
he never shot at police.
Well, he never shot at the police. Some say he didn't even have a gun that was planted on. It was planted there. The car wasn't stolen. It was one missed payment. How does that constitute as a stolen car?
If it's reported as it's reported by, I'm not saying because I don't know that. I didn't hear any of that.
Right.
If it's reported to by the lien holder that the car is now hasn't been paid and they put it out to be repossessed, it could be. It's a repossessed car. I don't know if it's a stolen car, but it goes out and it's supposed to be taken by police. I don't know any of that story. I do know the video, and they do a little circle where they show where the gun is when the guy is getting up. This is besides this because we have to. I think we kind of have to separate the two. That's another case. We're gonna that's gonna work itself out in court about the son. The dad's case is completely different because. It's connected, but on the other hand, my question is, again, I think the police kind of helped make it racial because it was a lot of white cops. And listen, they should be able to come out and support their brother that was run over, who was just directing traffic. He had nothing to do with it. And I'm sorry, I don't think that you can support anybody that just randomly is killed because we don't know who that guy was. He could have been a great leader in a community. He could have been someone that's advocating for rights for young men and trying to help out in the community. We don't know anything about him, and neither did he at the time. And he just ran that person over. So you don't know what you're killing.
Again, I'm not justifying anything, but something that kind of made you go, There was a caption where somebody wrote in regards to the sheriff, he fit the description.
Yep.
And again, I'm not justifying, but you go, well, how many times have they used that
right
to kill us?
No,
we fit the description. So it's like that saying goes, it's no fun when the rabbit has the gun.
No.
And I'm not justifying it. It just...
But he didn't fit the description because he's a sheriff, not a cop, number one.
Well, the cop is cop.
No, but it's not.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Technically, I know what you're saying. But in the eyes of what we've been through, cop's a cop. You got a badge, you got a gun, you're cop. And white guys with badges and guns kill us. So I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I'm saying, but we don't know who he was, and neither did he at the time when he ran him over. I think that that's tragic to me because we don't know. We just know that he was. What do you call someone that is intentionally run over by a car? Murder. It's murder, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he murdered somebody. I know what you're saying, and I understand the community. I understand that it could be a feeling. Well, this has gone on long enough, and this is what happens. But this isn't this. It's still murder.
Right.
I don't like that it became racial, and I felt like the police coming out and doing that, and not with black support. If black cops would have been there and white cops would have been there, I would have looked at it and said, okay, we're making this part is non-racial. We can go litigate that other side of the case, but this is like you can't run over somebody.
Do you think that? Because again, I only saw 2 black females. The one who was just standing amongst the rest.
She could have just been working there that day. She didn't even have to be one of the people who came to.
Well, what I'm getting at is, besides her, there was the other black woman who ushered him away. Could those, if they were a part of that police force, maybe they were the only 2. Maybe there were no other black cops. Because I have a hard time believing that if there were other black cops, and they're all supposed to be coming there to form a brotherhood and support a slain one of their own, why would the other black cops go, nah, man, I ain't going? So maybe those 2 were the only ones.
Well, I think they were working their job. The other people were there on their own time to present themselves in support of the lost officer, I guess.
Right.
That's what the idea would be. But when you see that many officers back there, and none of them are black, I think that made it racial. Didn't it?
I'm only playing devil's advocate because if there were no other black cops there, like there's you can't force cops that aren't there.
We're not playing devil's advocate. We're saying the same thing. Why weren't they there then? Because they know that there's a problem. Right? Is that what you're saying? I think I'm getting it. There's a problem. If
You're saying that if there are no other black cops on the force, that's the problem.
No, well, I know there's cops on the force, but they didn't show up. So
no, but I'm saying I don't think they would purposely not show up. Maybe that's all there really was 2. That's it.
2 on all of Cincinnati's police force?
That particular police force, if they all came out together and brotherhood and support, and they said, "Hey, all hands on deck," maybe that was it.
No, I would have to. So there's 2 women and the rest are all. I think
I'm
that,
just saying.
I think it's more of the. I think you have to question why there is no black officers there, and I would ask that question. Yes, you don't want to. You're not saying that you're not supporting a fallen officer, but you're saying we have problems in the police department. That's how I took it.
Oh.
That's how I took it, because like where I said, hey, Larry's my guy. We play on the Celtics, but Larry hasn't been with me. So let Larry get in this little scrum for a while and see why he needs me.
Right.
That's how I took it.
Right.
And I felt like, why such a big... Listen, there's no win in this, because no matter what, and this is the problem, the dad's son is gone, and now he's going to jail. There's unless they can show that he had some mental, he just snapped. And the reason I brought up what I said earlier is he didn't even get to watch the video because he was emotionally distraught and couldn't do it. So that's a bigger deal. If he would have saw it, and he would said, you could go, oh, he's out for vengeance. No, this is a man who snapped because he lost his son. So unless they make that argument and he doesn't go away forever, it's 2 lives that are gone.
And what I thought was interesting was as they were ushering him away, the way he put, that's what a lot of black people were also pointing out, the fact that he kept his chin up. Like when he walked past the officers who were all there to look at him and let him know. But instead of, holding his head down, the way he put his chin up and even defiantly looked them in the face and talked, that felt like for, a lot of black people, that was a proud moment. And one might ask the question, okay, see, this is what makes it so tough. Because there's a part of it where based on the history, you understand, right? But saying you understand almost feels like...
You're condoning it.
You're condoning it.
But you're not.
But you're not. But it's almost like, yeah, brother. But you going, yeah, brother, to what? He killed somebody that didn't have nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
So what are we celebrating? But I understand.
I see that's why when you say celebration and people celebrate it, I disagree with that completely. I disagree with celebrating it completely. But for somebody to go, I understand the mental breakdown that could happen because of this happening in communities for a long time, for the history of this country. There's other arguments to be made, though. And I just think that it's going to have to play out in court what happened with his son, first of all. And the next part is then him. And when I say we lost 2 lives, and now the father's life is,
And they're I think
basically
they're trying to get the death penalty.
I don't know what's available in that instance.
I saw that on the...
that's Ohio, so I don't know what's available there.
Yeah.
But it's a tragedy all the way around. But that's why I said, how do you celebrate a tragedy? But and my other question is though, and when we go back to the son, and you said, okay, well, he was just pulled over, the car wasn't stolen, but they're looking for the car because if the payments have been missed and the people put it out for repossession, they're looking for the car. Why did they get out and run like that? Why did they do what they did? And I'm not saying I'm putting blame on people for getting shot because they ran. I mean, that's not the goal. But the other kids didn't get shot. He got shot. I'm not saying that he had the gun. I can't see the gun in the video. I see a grainy thing in his hand. It could have been a phone. It could be a gun. I don't know what it is. I'm just being really honest and saying I don't know what it is. That's going to play out in court. I feel bad for this father because if my son, now here's the other part of it. If my son was killed, I don't know that I'm mentally capable of handling what happens next.
Well, here's the thing too, and I again, when you read the comments, a lot of black people, I think, to some degree, are and selling wolf tickets because I read a lot of, yeah, you kill mine, I'm gonna ride for mine. You kill mine, yeah. Okay, well, how many black boys have been killed whose parents didn't do anything, didn't do what Rodney did? So for all these people going, I'll ride for mine, you kill my kid, yeah. You say that. but when it come time to really go eye for eye, you really doing it, or you just talking shit? It's easy to talk shit, because there's been so many black boys that have died at the hands of police whose parents didn't do anything.
But you have other people that you have to be responsible for. You have other children. You have other people in your life that you need to be responsible for. So you that doesn't mean you don't care about your son enough for an eye, but if you go an eye, and now who's going to take care of your other son?
I get it. I understand.
So I understand. I don't think it's. I just think that people get a little hyperbolic, and then they go on to this rant, and this is the culture of an eye for an eye. Do we really follow an eye for an eye? I mean, if we think about it, do we really follow that in life? And when we do, and I do see it somewhat in the black community and in the white community too, but in the black community, it's like you bump into someone. There's an attitude that's happening right now. Culturally, I don't understand what the attitude is, and that's not all. Obviously, that's a certain part of the community. You know, you can't run into someone. You jeopardize my manhood by bumping into me, and now I have to have a face-off one-on-one with you.
Man, you just stepped on my brand new Air Jordans.
But what is that?
Right.
Where are we going? If that's the case, man, we might as well stay home. We got computers. We got food delivery. We don't need to go out of the house. Maybe we need to stay home until we figure it out, because it's not going to work out that way. We can't do an eye for an eye.
Certainly not against cops.
Well, we shouldn't be doing it against people.
No, I'm just saying, but, you know, listen, you do it against another person, that is what it is. I think it's a one and done. You do it against cops, then all of a sudden you got a bunch of with itchy trigger fingers. Oops, oops, oops. And for every oops, it's a dead black person.
Well, we're not going to, his son's not coming back. And so that is the tragedy. That's the tragedy that's kind of being lost a little bit in this too. He lost a son. And I don't care. Let me rephrase that, how I just said that. I care if he had a gun, but I don't care about him having a gun. I care more about the loss that's a loss. I mean, this kid had his whole life. Yeah, he messed up. If that's the case and he messed up, yeah, that's the price he paid. That's a loss. That's the loss that I'm concerned with. Yes, I don't think you should have a gun out. I don't think that we should be developing a culture where everybody should be running around having guns and having shootouts in the street. We had one in Arizona. For Easter weekend. There was a party going on. Someone bumped into someone. Some kind of fight happened at a restaurant, and the next thing you know, they're having like the OK Corral a gunfight. This is not going to work. You know what? We can go about 100 different ways of saying this. If we get into the point where we're having old-timey West gunfights out in the middle of the street, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
So I think that's where I'm leading with what I really didn't say much. I want to see what happens. I don't know. I hope we have some more definitive answers. But on his case, it's unfortunate in the aspect that a man's life was taken who had nothing to do with it at all, and he's gone. And that's unfortunate. To me, that's sad. I don't care who it is, because you just took another life. That he's an innocent guy standing there directing traffic. He doesn't even have there's nothing there. There's nothing there. He's helping and the other part is if he's directing traffic, that means there's people there. The guy had no concern for anybody other than what he was going to do next. So now if his mental health is even there. I mean, was he able to make these determinations? He ran over people. He could have ran over multiple people. Could have caused more accidents. Could have caused more death. I think this man was on a suicide mission, is what I think. I don't know what happened, though.
I don't know why you just don't run the cop over and then get out of the car and be like, oh, my bad, I was on my phone.
Because did you see where the car ended up at? He wasn't going to get out of the car.
No, I didn't see it.
But
I mean, like, my bad.
That was an attempt.
Yeah, that wasn't funny, though. It was.
No, I'm saying, like, you could still get away with killing the cop and then just get off with, like, some kind of manslaughter if it was, like, an accident.
You know what? I don't know if we should have him on our show. He's trying to figure out ways to get away with killing cops. I don't think that works.
Yeah, this is I don't know what they call that thing where you say the statements made by so-and-so is not a reflection of us.
Right. I think you took a left on us right here somewhere.
Yeah. All right. Now on to the
end of the Celtics.
So one of my first questions was, they always talked about how Larry gave so much of himself to the game, like literally his body. And I think one of the things that I saw, that famous clip where I just went, damn. Remember the way his face just smacks off the wood on the floor. And I went, you think if sports medicine and technology was back then what it is today, he could have played longer?
Yeah. I think they could have kept him from getting so hurt. But the other thing is, he said the way that he plays, he knew his body wasn't going to hold up. That's how he played. But I think I think they could have done more for his back.
Yeah.
But you also have to, like they said too, like he's in traction, then he's getting up and he's walking around. He's like, you have to stay in that thing if it's going to work. So I don't know, maybe he would never have allowed himself to be treated properly.
And when they, one of the things they talked about was when Len Bias died, and they would cut to some of the brothers in the documentary being interviewed, and he said this like it was kind of like he felt like it was a bad thing, and I don't think it's he goes, when Len Bias died, and because he died of a cocaine overdose, they tried to use him as some sort of a campaign now to say, don't do drugs, instead of celebrating more so the man he was. I don't see how that's a bad thing.
No, I didn't. I think it's a two-part thing. Yes, if you use it to do that, but never addressing the person that was lost. And saying, Len Bias was a great person. Yeah, he made a mistake. He's a young kid. But, on all these great things, I don't think he got, but on the other hand, I don't know if that's true because I remember a lot happening when Len Bias died and how people were reacted towards it. I do understand the immediate reaction of using his tale to try to prevent other kids from going down that path. I think that's a good thing to keep kids from going down that path.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And especially when it's like, okay, drugs run rampant in the black community, and here's a guy who could have been a major superstar, and this is what happens. You can throw your life away, you could throw your future away, you know what I'm saying? Why not?
But I think the point they were trying to make is that they would like people in the black community like who passed, like Len Bias did, not to be just a tale of what not to do, but be remembered for the person they are, just not about what not to do. So, I don't know.
And what's great too is like by episode 6, this is when they start to talk about the heated rivalry between Celtics and the Pistons. And I just went, dude, did Bill Laimbeer really have to be that much of a dirty asshole? He was such a dirty asshole.
Yeah, but you know what? When you say that, he had the body and the build to be that dirty asshole. But they say that it wasn't him that ran. It was
Isaiah.
It was Isaiah. Isaiah ran the team. They were a reflection of what he said to go went.
Right.
So, Laimbeer just happened to have the size and the body and the ability to make those things happen.
Yeah.
The culture of the team is the culture of the team. And, I'm not, it was a little too much because, when you're making $50 million a year, I don't think you want a broken leg that year, or what that thing where he really went after Larry Bird, and you saw his legs bend over backwards
when he came down on him. Yeah.
That looked like that could have been a real that could have been a life-ending injury, right? Couldn't it have been?
Well, I don't think so because it wasn't like he took his legs out from under him. He came down on his face.
Yeah, but it looked like his legs got caught though in a way that could mess someone's knee up.
And twisted knee or something.
Like that. So I understood the point of why people were mad at them, but that's the bad boys are famous, and maybe they're not going to go down in history as like the like this elegant basketball team that won these championships in this beautiful play, but that the rules allowed them to be who they were.
80s built 80s tough. I remember that great 30 for 30 about the Pistons when Bill Laimbeer said somebody's got to wear the black hat. So he truly embraced being he embraced it.
Well, you're only if you're one of the other 34 teams, 35 teams.
Right.
Because I hated Ainge when he played for the Celtics because Ainge had an attitude too, and but when he came to the Suns, I was like, this Ainge guy isn't as bad as I thought he was. He's so it just depends on your point of view. Do you think, though, the Pistons, other than Detroit, do you think they would have been accepted in any other? Like, Detroit has that ruggedness that the Pistons fit into that as well. Do you think they could have played in any other city? And, like, do you see them in Indiana playing like that, hard and little? Let's face it, a little dirty.
You know, because it's Indiana?
Yeah, it's Indiana. Do you think that the city embraces them the same way Detroit embraced the Pistons?
No. I think Detroit was
The city it had to be in.
Yeah.
It could have been Chicago, maybe, if there wasn't, Michael Jordan.
Right.
If it was,
And Isaiah was always a little salty about that because he's from Chicago.
Yeah.
And the fact that Michael Jordan was the prince of the city when he ain't even from Chicago, and Isaiah wanted to play for Chicago, so that they say that's kind of why he was always a little salty against MJ too, because it was like, "No, you in my city, and they embrace you more than they embrace me,
Yeah.
and I'm from here."
yeah.
What are you gonna do? Do you think that the Dennis Rodman, Isaiah comment was fueled by jealousy or stupidity?
I think it was fueled by aggravation for being out of the series.
So when Rodman goes, if he were a black player, he'd be just another good guy.
Let me say it to you. It's the end of the game. I just lost the game. And let me be Rodman for a second. Man, everybody's kissing his ass, and we're out here busting our ass. Man, if he wasn't a white dude, he'd just be just like everybody else.
Frustration,
just angry.
Because how could you mean that? You see this white boy.
But
guy
he's kind of
game.
owned that statement, though, because he's said it a few other times about, he's gone out, he said some other things about Bird. He had to own it. But you know what? Rodman's the kind of guy that will own something that he says. So it's part of his personality. I think that it was frustration. They're out of the game. And who beat him? Who beat them? The white guy. So is he just another good guy? And I think that was kind of the point that, that it was being made, is like, I'm laughing because, if he was he's just another good guy. Well, the good guy got you kicked out of the finals. You're not playing anymore. And when he said, because I'm just a slow white guy who can't jump when they're in that thing.
Yeah, during the press conference.
And he goes, and he even goes, you weren't slow when you stole that ball.
Right.
We know what it is, and I think that like you said, it's frustration. You saying that, but you're going home, and the white dude's going on. So is that really what you're saying, or is that just frustration? It's frustration.
I don't want to use the word racist because I think that's too heavy a word. But listen, and I've said this, sometimes my people, black people, we use the race card unjustifiably. Sometimes we're not above being, like how we go, white people racist, and we're not above being a little, I don't want to use the word racist, but sometimes, like when they go, like even when Cedric Maxwell went, here comes the white savior. Man, let me see if this white guy could play. Sometimes we have this attitude like, man, that white boy. So, we can be a little wrong in that sense too, that we don't want to give somebody the credit. Because I notice now on the internet, all this Eminem slander. Once upon a time ago, when Eminem first came out, black people gave that boy his props, like, yo, that white boy nice. But now it's, man, he really ain't that good. How many black people really go, hey man, play that new Eminem? He cool, but some way his syllables and that, like people, I see a lot of black people trying to break down why Eminem ain't great, and I'm like, come on, man.
He came up with his own cadence.
That boy could spit, man. That boy could spit. Stop it.
But
a bird could play. Stop it.
But the frustration is, and this is the Elvis frustration. We have all these people that can do this. Why does this person get all the shine?
When we've been doing that.
That's really the case. That's what this is about.
I can understand that frustration, but when somebody got the chops,
yeah,
you gotta give them the credit, man. When they got the chops, man, you gotta give them the credit.
But we're in this reevaluating phase in here where we're trying to dismantle it's not just about having the chops. It's about why. And this is why. And we're looking for the reasons why. Dude, we work in a business that is, if we wide ourselves, we might as well just end it now. Why? Why? Why didn't I get this part? Why didn't I get this? Why didn't this happen for me? Why didn't this happen? We can why this to death. There's a lot of reasons why. There are a lot of reasons why. And some of it, when you say racism, some of it's just race numbers, especially as you go back. But as you go forward, the hip-hop industry is owned by, it's a black industry. It's owned by blacks. The top talent is black. So you got one white guy, and now you're mad that you got a white chocolate chip in your chocolate ice cream. It's one. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that.
You think, and listen, man, you got to hand it to him. I don't know if this is an old school thing, but Red Auerbach's level of loyalty. Because at one point, Danny Ainge was like, yo, I think they should have traded, who did he say?
Bird
and McHale. And Auerbach said, as long as I'm here, they're going to finish their careers Celtics. Would you have traded them? How do you even say trade Bird?
Yeah, I think you trade McHale. I don't think you trade Bird. You have to build. Well, you don't have to build. You have to just go, okay. Well, no, because Red was really good. And this is where the complication comes in. Is Lynn Bias doesn't happen to Lynn Bias. Reggie Lewis doesn't have what was in a large heart that they found is what it was. If he doesn't have that heart, if he doesn't have finally a heart attack and die, Red was very good about building for the future of getting drafts, trading people that he didn't feel. I don't say that they weren't contributors. He wanted contributors, but they weren't iconic members of the team that were like the people I'm having over for dinner part of the team. Right. I don't know, man. I think if he was still doing it and those things didn't happen, yeah, but again, that's another why. We can why ourselves to death in these sports and entertainment and what we do. This is he didn't have to trade him if those things didn't happen, but what he was saying and what Danny Ainge did is this is a business first. He looks at it as a business. We're family, but sometimes family has to break up.
I always felt like, that sounds good on paper, but that whole we're a family is because if you're a family, families ride through thick and thin no matter what. It's a business.
It's a business.
And as soon as you're not profitable anymore, that family goes out the window.
Well, if you're a family, you're the Celtics, so the Celtics family is the Celtics, and the team support is by the fans, right? And the fans are supposed to be ride or die. But what happens when you're not when you're not winning? Do the fans stay part of the family? Do they come and support? Do they stay? Very few teams have that kind of support the whole time, even when they suck.
The fans are more loyal than the organization.
No, but when only half the stadium is full, you still have to pay all these players. You need to fill the stands as well.
I'm just like, dude, don't lie to me. Don't say I'm family, because I'm not. That's like I told you, when people go that cliche, yeah, when you come to this restaurant, they treat you like family. Well, then you give me a bill when I'm done eating. You charge your family to eat?
Don't say that, man, out loud. Some families are going to start charging their kids when they come home.
Fuck out of here. If I'm family, let me eat and wish me good day and don't charge me.
Family, it is a family in the fact that you get your number retired, you're up in the rafters, you're part of the heritage, but, everything moves on.
I got to tell you, man, there's a funny irony in how they go, the luck of the Irish, the luck of the Irish. And then they point out the examples of how the Celtics are there's a luckiness to them. Havlicek steals the ball. Henderson, there's a steal by Bird. So those three examples, Havlicek, Henderson, and Bird against Detroit. Okay, but are they lucky? Is there the luck of the Irish? Because you also have Len Bias dying, Reggie Lewis dying, Paul Pierce getting shot. Stabbed. So is it luck?
Sometimes you pay for luck, I guess.
As much luck as they had, they also had bad luck.
Dude, what do you think about? Okay, then Paul Pierce. These guys, They go the way. They should have been traded. Paul Pierce comes in. What did you think about those Celtics?
When Garnett and Ray Allen,
Yeah.
because because the big thing was Paul Pierce got there and they had Antoine Walker,
Who was a really cool guy. I got to meet him when
Yeah.
I was working at a store in Phoenix. He came in and he was on the road trip and he was buying some nice stuff for his wife. And I hooked him up with some stuff. So he was cool. He's really nice. Was like a super nice guy. And when I saw him, he is that nice guy. When you're watching
Yeah.
him on even on the dock, he's a nice guy.
boy, them motherfuckers when they retire, they swell up. When they showed Xavier McDaniel, who I never even knew played for the Celtics at one point. I just knew him as the bruiser with the Knicks. And I went, I hadn't seen him since the last time I saw Xavier McDaniel was the famous shot of him and Jordan forehead to forehead. And Jordan says, F you. When they showed him, I went, yo.
It looked like there was two McDaniels there.
Dude, have you seen Sean Kemp?
Yeah, he got.
Oh my God, them swell up when they retire.
Jordan got big, and then he gave up some of that weight again. And Barkley had to get small again. Look at Shaq got really big and then had to get back down. Your body just isn't ready just to shut down like that, and you're still eating the same way you used to eat. It's not going to be good. Even your guy, who comes to see you when you were in San Francisco?
Oh, Gary Payton.
Yeah, he's not huge, but he's not the Gary Payton of
right.
Very few of those guys stay like that.
Yeah, man. Damn.
But what did you think when they got the big three? That was the first time the big three.
You know what? For that team to be who they were and only win one chip, I thought they underachieved.
Well, that's because the injury. They had it a second ring no matter what, but the injury.
Right, because Kevin Garnett went down. Yeah.
What do you think about Ray Allen?
Listen, he saved LeBron's ass.
Dude, I got to say, I don't know what it is about
Jesus
him.
Shuttlesworth.
Dude, they talk about swag. Ray Allen has this coolness about everything, the way he shoots the ball, the way he talks.
There you go. He's a guy that looks the same.
Yeah.
Him and Reggie Miller.
Well, Reggie was always this thin. How big can he get?
Right.
But he's always cool. The way he talks, the way his
Right.
whole demeanor is cool.
Yeah.
Like I always think that I would like to talk to that dude. That dude seems like
He's very cool.
He seems like
He did Mad TV.
Yeah,
He was
he
a
really
guest
cool?
on Mad TV. Oh, very cool.
So is he swaggy though? Like does he come in and
He just has a very quiet demeanor about him.
Yeah.
He don't make a lot of noise.
There's something about him is just cool. But that shot's a pretty shot.
Oh, listen. I always debated who had the smoothest shot between him, Reggie Miller, Steph, and Larry.
No, I think it's him.
Yeah.
His is prettier. It's the smoothest shot.
Right.
And it doesn't look like he's even doing anything with it. When he's talking, he's saying, yeah, man, I've never been so out of gas. I knew I had nothing left. And he went up, and the way he was playing, I was like, that shit looks exactly the same.
Right.
And then Kevin Durant, where do you rate him is like a center, the big man?
Kevin Durant?
Yeah.
I don't have the love for KD that a lot of people have. One, because the way he jumped ship and went to the Warriors, when it was like, dude, you guys were up 3-1. First of all, how'd you blow that? Then to go to the team that beat you? And then on top of that, you ain't won another one since. Again, I don't want to use the word overhyped, more so you underachieved.
Well,
dude.
the reason I'm asking this because those that size, that look, how do those guys play when they're that small? Because
skinny?
Yeah.
But basketball players are equipped. I think that skinniness.
What about this Chet Holmgren?
Chet Holmgren.
He's playing on. He's playing right now. OKC, is that where he's playing? 7-1.
Yeah. Dude, you know what's crazy? They put up a photo, and they said, "This is how centers looked in the '90s," and you just see the girth and the diesel. That's what he calls Shaq Diesel. That motherfucker 7-something, built like a truck. And then they show Karl Malone, them arms, and the guys today are sticks. Wembyamba, the guy you're talking about, KD.
Yeah. But I'm just saying that the league has changed when you can get this thin. You can.
Let me tell you something. Shaq would have broke all them niggas today.
But Garnett though, he's skinny. I brought up all these other guys.
Fierce.
What
dog in that
What
nigga.
made him And that's why I said KD not fierce like that. A smooth shooter, all
Right.
You,
KD is a quiet killer.
okay, but all these guys, big, tall. But Garnett, what made him so like?
Yeah, that dog, But, Barkley would joke and say, and then when they would even show footage, Garnett barked, but his bite wasn't. Like, his bite was there as a player, but nigga couldn't fight. He didn't want no smoke, ever.
Okay, that's fine, but on the court,
on the court, he was vicious.
when they were showing the practices, and he doesn't want to get taken out of the practices.
Right.
That to me was wild. I didn't know that. I didn't know about the practices. I thought that was wild. He's a beast, man. Skinny, but I'd put he would kill the skinny guys today.
Right. I wanted to ask you, because, up until, Paul Pierce, the Celtics had always been predominantly thought of as a white team. And again, given the attitude of Boston and the climate of the city, embracing, the whiteness of it, how long do you think it took for the fans to make the adjustment from, all right, no more Bird, no more McHale, no more Ainge. This team is turning black. Let's embrace them and love them as we should.
They were also the first team to start 5 black players, though, earlier before Bird. So I don't know that's what's interesting. But that's the conundrum when you talk about the Celtics, between the city, the Celtics, the players.
But they were also the only team that could start 5 white guys.
Yeah. But they were the first team to start 5 black guys when there was the unsaid rule. They had a black coach. For the most white team, they were also the team that led the league in the changes for black culture into basketball.
Right.
So how do you reason with that? I don't know how to make that work, because what you just said, when it was Bird and Ainge and McHale, and it looks pretty white. It's a white city.
Yeah.
But that's not actually the history of the Celtics. But we forget that other part of the history.
Do you even remember Dominique Wilkins being on the Celtics?
No.
But that was the tail end. That he was on the downside of his career when he got to the Celtics.
No, I don't even remember that at all.
You don't remember that?
No.
Oh yeah.
No.
Now, can you imagine the Dominique Wilkins from the Hawks with Bird? Woo!
It changes everything because of the way the game's played. Was there who was their slasher? Did they have a slasher?
No.
When Bird played, there was no slasher?
Nah. The most athletic team ever. They didn't have an explosive. That's why Len Bias was so intriguing.
Well, it would have been amazing
for Larry to play with a dude who could do that.
And it would have extended Larry's career.
Oh, for sure. I saw an interesting clip. Bernard King. He goes, at one point, when I was leaving the Knicks, Red Auerbach called me, and he said, we want to have a meeting with you. And he goes, for 10 years, as we played the Celtics while I was on the Knicks, I never spoke to Larry. Larry never trash-talked me, which I thought, one, was interesting, which I think was a testament to how much Larry respected Bernard King. But he said he never trash-talked me. We never spoke. So he goes, I go to Boston, and they say, Red Auerbach goes, why do you want to be a Celtic? He goes, I want to win a championship. And he goes, all right, boom, here's the deal. They offered me this deal. He goes, 2 days later, the Washington Bullets, who he ultimately ends up going to, gives him a deal for twice as much. And he goes, back in them days, we wasn't making what these young players make today, so I had to take it. So he goes, I signed with the Washington Bullets. The first time we played the Celtics, Larry never spoke to me in 10 years. Larry comes up to me and goes, you cost me a championship. Oh, wow.
That would have been unbelievable.
Now, I don't know much about Bernard King. But I heard he's one of
unbelievable.
Yeah.
But here, I just want to bring up this point. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but hear that, ladies? They didn't make what? They didn't make a lot of money. Don't forget, before this, when we're talking about the Celtics in the beginning, these guys had jobs.
And they played better.
And they had jobs at garages, at gas stations, so that they could make their ends meet on the off season. I just want to remind people, it just didn't start out where they were millionaires. So keep building. You're doing great. I mean, I'm impressed. I really am. I
make them shorter and them tops tighter.
But it didn't start off that way. There are leagues have to earn it. All right, so that was enough of that. What did you think? What do you think about Kevin Perkins?
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, Michael Mallet. Let me tell you something, Stephen A.
Because he comes in. I love when he interjects into these conversations.
Yeah. I didn't think much of him. You know, was he that memorable? Undersized center. Was he that memorable?
He thinks he is.
I know. Of course he does.
I think it's great that he thinks he is. He also thinks he was good looking when they were talking about him being young on the team.
Well, he was better looking when he was younger. Now that nigga got so much meat around that neck. Yeah, Scalabrini was more of a personality than him.
Yeah, but Scalabrini, when they were doing Mbutu, and then he's yelling Mbutu when they're going onto the court, and everybody has shaved heads, and he still has his bright red hair. I was like, you need to shave that shit.
Even Dikembe was like, "What does Mbutu mean?" Dude, let me tell you something. Somebody should have told Rick Pitino, leave your ego at the door. This dude, man. And I think they stopped hiring college coaches to coach in the pros because of him.
Well, they
don't do well.
Brad Stevens they brought over,
Yeah, they tend not to do well.
Well, PJ, what was his name? PJ
Carlissimo?
Yeah, he had issues as a.
He got choked by Sprewell, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. They had issues because when you're in college, you are there to listen to your coach. Now you're dealing with guys that.
Remember when Robert Horry threw a towel in your boy's face?
Oh yeah, that was the end of Horry, and that was the end of him actually too. That was the end.
Danny Ainge?
Yeah, he was pretty much.
Let me ask you something. You're the owner of the team. That happens. Who has to go? The coach or the player?
Oh, the player has to go.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the player has to go. Well, it depends on the player actually.
Okay.
But the player kind of has to go because there has to be some leadership. You can't have just and Horry wasn't the leader of the team. So so if you're coming from a place that you're not a leader of the team, you're going to disrespect the coach like that. Now no one's going to follow the coach if you don't. And you have to have some kind of leadership. So you have to get rid of Horry. Horry's a great player. But if you get rid of Ainge, that's fine too. But then you're admitting that he lost the whole room and that you should have probably got rid of him before that happened on TV. So I don't know what the right answer is really, but you're and that's why they both ended up leaving after that.
But back to Rick Pitino, I'm just like, listen, Barkley would always say, what you did in high school don't matter in college. What you do in college don't matter in the pros. I know Rick Pitino was hot in the college, but what is it about you that you just brought that ego to the NBA?
He did well in the Knicks.
No, he coached the Knicks?
Yeah.
I thought his one and only job was coaching the Celtics.
No, he coached the Knicks too.
He didn't win a championship.
He had
so
success.
how well did he
had
do?
success, but he didn't do. He brought him up. Coach Brown though was Coach Brown did well as
Coach Brown. Larry Brown.
Larry Brown.
Oh, he was a college guy. Oh shit.
But you're.
He won a championship with Detroit.
You're dealing with different mentalities though, and you have to be able to change. You have to be able to connect with your players in a different way. You could tell Pitino wasn't interested in connecting with his players. He was interested in being the coach, and college athletes had to listen to the coach. So that was his audience. He didn't know how to connect with the players. Players changed over the years too. And when you become millionaires and you're on commercials and you got endorsement deals, and now you got some guy, and especially then too. This wasn't he was making pretty good money when he was at the Celtics, but a lot of coaches were making they were paying coaches. Phil Jackson at one time I forgot what he was getting paid, and everybody on the team was making more money than him.
Right.
So how do you why are you listening to this guy? You have to command some kind of respect. So I don't know.
But didn't it feel like at one point when we're watching this, and this was kind of like the Rick Pitino episode, didn't it feel like he quit on his team at one point?
Yeah, he faxed in his notice that he was done. He couldn't win, but did he quit or did he just realize he wasn't the right man for the job and he left?
Okay, but even then,
But then you have a press conference and you go, hey, you know what? I've determined that I'm not going to take this team where it needs to go, and they need to bring someone else in. I take full responsibility, and I'm giving them time to find a new head coach, and I'm out of here.
Right.
He didn't own his failure.
Dude, I only got like a couple notes on episode 9, and then I'm done.
Well, good. Then.
We can jump on the accountant because I don't have a lot of notes for that. Rajon Rondo. Is it me or does he look like an alien?
He just, I think it's you a little bit, but with you mean with his new hair?
No, just his whole look. He looks like an alien.
No, I think he looks like a.
Picture him green.
Okay, if I picture anybody green.
no, but he's got them eyes.
Yeah. It's not like Sam Cassell. Sam Cassell looks like an alien.
That's a creature, nigga.
They put those ears, the ears and the eyes in the same area.
You dude, I hope I don't f it up too bad, but you get the gist. All the hardcore rap fans know. This is why Jadakiss was so dope. He had a lyric where he goes, I could move bucks because like Sam, I could sell. Oh, Jada was a beast with them lyrics.
You like that?
And what happened to Rajon? Because, dude, listen, at one point he was like one of the hot point guards, and then he just seemed like he dipped off.
Because he doesn't bring offense though. Really, he likes to pass. He plays the defense. He was a different kind of point guard.
Yeah.
I thought it depends on what team you are. If you got 3 shooters around you, then you don't need to shoot.
Right.
You have to be when you build a team, you got to build the right team.
Yeah. Was Ray Allen wrong for going to the Heat? Because Garnett felt betrayed by that.
We heard that he might have got traded anyway. They were in talks to trade him before that, so he was right to leave. But to go to that's the same thing.
To the enemy?
KD in Phoenix when he went from to
Golden State.
Yeah, that's what they said. You're going to the people that beat you. You're not becoming a champion. You're signing up on a championship team.
Right.
That's a hard one.
That's why, again, dude, miss me with the family. It's business. Ray wanted to do what was right for Ray. Like the organization wants to do what's right for the organization. Miss me with the family. It's family when it's all fun and we're all winning and everybody's happy. But when shit get rough, adios, nigga.
No, it was a tough team for him to go to, but he needed to go somewhere that I think they knew it was kind of ending, though. I don't know. I've always Paul Pierce. I'd be maddest because I was the one that was there the whole time. There was still opportunity, but it really was there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think their window closed quickly, and they even said Doc even said what he thinks there was only like a 3-year window.
Yeah.
And they had their 3 years, but they only got the one championship. Hey, that's a lot more than some people get.
Yeah, but damn. I think, what do they say? 3 is a dynasty?
Yeah.
Two. You got to win at least 2 to be like, you know what I mean?
2 would have been great, and they had it. They had it in the bag if they could have got it at that second year. They could have went back to back. But the injury.
Damn. Listen, man, as much as I love The Last Dance, this is up there with that.
Yeah, it made me like the Celtics again. Like, I've always liked Bird. I think he's a great player. I liked Ainge because he came to Phoenix, and it was fun to see that kind of somebody came from that tradition, in Phoenix. So like and Mikhail, when you watch Mikhail, if you're my age, there's a game that I watched. I watched Mikhail that game where he scored 49. Dude, it was so weird watching him. He would just he couldn't miss.
Yeah.
And I watched that game, and it was just he was an unbelievable player.
Well, Barkley always says that he's the greatest power forward he ever played against.
He's. Again, though, why do these guys have short careers? So short. Not that it was short. His was longer.
Yeah,
but not a healthy career.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I mean, I would like to have seen these guys on. It's great they played on the Celtics, but what if they would have played on a team that actually took care of them and made sure that they stayed healthy?
Well, they didn't have the medicine or the technology
at the time. No.
Yeah.
But that's why I tell everybody, like when I see people who get hurt and have a hard time, go to Phoenix, man. They have the doctors out there.
That's why I tell these You miss me with this. The game, bigger, stronger, faster. It's so, these athletes are so coddled now. It's like, again, 80s, 90s tough. Come on, man.
Dude, I would like to see a stretch. I bet you could play, just take a week, right, where every team had to play the 80s Pistons, the 90s Pistons, sorry. And to play those Pistons. I bet half the team would be on injured reserve the next day.
Let me tell you, man, and I said this in a post, and I mean this. God, if we had a time machine, that Warriors team with KD, I think whether it's, again, the 90s Rockets with Akeem, the 90s of Magic with Shaq and Penny, certainly the 72-10 Bulls, the 80s Pistons, the 80s Celtics, Shaq and Kobe Lakers, Magic and Kareem Lakers, all them teams in a 7-game series beat them Warriors with KD. All of them.
All of them?
All of them. 7-game series. They all whooped their ass.
Prime to prime.
Prime to prime.
I'm not going to deny it. I'm from that time.
And I know people, oh, you just biased. No, come on, man. The 86 championship Celtics, Bird, the 5 Hall of Famers, Walton, Bird, McHale, Parrish, Dennis Johnson. Come on, man. The Warriors are beating them? Out of here. The 72-10 Bulls? Out of here. Shaq and Penny with Nick Anderson and Dennis Scott on the wings? The out of here. Hakeem? Who's stopping Hakeem Olajuwon on the Rockets? Mad Max? Mario Ellie? Robert Horry? Get the out of here, yo. The Pistons? Shaq and Kobe. Shaq and Kobe. Who's stopping Shaq? Kobe's destroying whoever's on him.
They're playing hack and Shaq, so he's.
You still got Kobe.
Yeah, you got Kobe.
And then you got that bench. Robert Horry, B. Shaw, Rick Fox, Ron Harper. Magic and Kareem. Who's stopping Kareem? Magic at 6. How tall was Magic? 6'9"?
6'8".
6'8"?
Yeah, I think 6'8".
Come on, man. Worthy? Byron Scott? Stop it. Stop it.
Byron Scott, why? He's under.
So cool.
Underrated though.
Yeah, cool dude as fuck, man.
I shouldn't say underrated. Underappreciated.
Yeah.
Underappreciated. Because the people who know don't rate him low.
Yeah. The Accountant 2.
You want to do it right now?
Yeah, I don't think we have an hour with The Accountant.
Okay. Well, let's go.
All right. Was it better than 1? Let me say before you answer. Phenomenal. I love this movie. And the funny thing is, I watched, not on purpose, but the other day, The Accountant 1 was on, and I happened to see it. This is better than 1.
You can't have 2 with you don't get the origin story.
Oh, no, of course not.
So I don't think it's better than 1.
You don't think it's better than 1?
I know. I like 1 a lot because it tells you the whole story about him. There's little details in there, like when she opens up that drawer and there's that action comic in there, and so you know how he's taking care of his money and he's buying these weird things and his art collection, and you see it now. There's different art in his Airstream. There's so many calls back to the old one, and plus his. The woman that gives him all the information, his friend from when he was in. You don't know about the relationship without any.
No, you definitely need 1.
Yeah, you have to have it. So to me, though, you can't have this. This one it's unencumbered by having to tell the story. This is the story. You get to watch a story instead of having to have all that other story come in.
What I loved about this so much was the first one in terms of tone was very serious. And not like they trying to be over the top comedic, be over the top with the comedy on this one, but it's a natural comedy.
They learned how to tell the story of an autistic person
Right.
in a real world setting without trying to make him overly sterile.
Right. And what I loved about this one was the focus was, yes, you get the kick-ass man food with the gunplay and the violence, but the relationship with the brother. This focuses so much on his relationship with his brother because he goes, dude, last time I saw you was 8 years ago. And there's this moment where they're sitting on top of the Airstream and his brother gets like emotional and says to him, do you love me? Or what did he say? Do you miss me? Did he say miss me or love me?
I think miss me. Do you ever miss me?
Do you ever miss me or care about me?
Yeah.
Because do you care about me because of me or your condition? And then you cut to Ben Affleck struggling with trying to answer, not because, you know,
The autism. It controls.
Yes.
It hampers the emotional connection.
yes. And I got to tell you, man, listen, I've never seen this. I've never seen a character like this, which is what's so intriguing. Is a guy who's autistic and who has a gift in terms of putting shit together, but then is a Jason Bourne badass. That combination, autism, genius, killer. I've never seen that. I've never seen that. That's dope, man.
I love that scene because the scene you're talking about, that's where he goes and he can't get him to focus on him. And so he just, and he's putting suntan lotion on his legs.
Right.
And so his brother just takes the lotion.
Yeah, can I get some of that? Yeah, and he chucks the lotion, and everybody in the theater started laughing. And then they show, what's my man that plays his brother? What's his name? And then he looks at him, and he just has this eating grin on his face.
He's laughing.
And he's just laughing in his face. And Ben Affleck's like, why did you do that? I don't like when you do that.
I don't like when you do that.
And he goes, man, we're getting drunk. Let's get drunk. I mean, it brought fun to this movie, which the first one, the tone was so serious.
Yeah, because they
John Bernthal.
Yeah, John Bernthal.
They made it sterile. This one they let him have a personality besides it wasn't fair just to say that his only traits are he has a number ability and killing people.
Right.
He was autistic. But he has a personality as well in there. But it's the emotional connections sometimes are very tough when you're autistic, and on that spectrum. And that's what they showed in this. But they also showed the joyous parts. And listen, there's a dance scene in there. And
oh, yeah, I love that.
when he figures out how to do the dance.
Yeah, I love that.
And I seen True do this.
Really?
Where True is watching something and he figures it out, and the joy that he gets when he does it.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck got it, but see, the only thing is, and I should say this, there is a little bit more awkwardness. My son has a little bit more awkwardness, and from most of the kids that I've seen, there's a little bit more awkwardness to him. So Ben Affleck, I don't think can get that awkward. He got as awkward as he could, but there's a little bit more awkwardness, and there's a little.
But is that automatic? Is that, I mean, in other words, is everybody like? Are they? When you say he could have been a little bit more awkward, are they lying? Like.
Like Ben Affleck's a good-looking dude, so when he smiled and he got excited about it, he stayed within a presence of a person that's. But my son will like get a really big smile and almost like.
Well, he does the smile thing.
Yeah, he does, but there's some more control. There's more control to him. But they have. I think they did a great job. I think what I'm trying to get to is I think Ben Affleck did an amazing job, not trying to cartoon up what it is and
Right.
kept it within. There's some parts where I've seen my son, and when he's like smiling right there and he has his hands on, that is very close. But my son would be a little bit more awkward and he wouldn't be as straight. But Ben Affleck has always played this character very tight.
Yeah.
So it's working. I think he did a great job. This scene this scene actually got me to tear up a little bit.
Oh, so I was gonna say, was that it?
The scene is even at the end. Just the brothers. My oldest son. The relationship.
This was awesome.
This is my son. This is my other than the killing. This is my kids.
Yeah.
This is my two boys, and my oldest son is not on the spectrum. But because you're not on the spectrum doesn't mean you don't have some spec.
Dude, I didn't even think about that. Your Max.
Yeah.
2 boys, 2 brothers.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
This movie got me because of their relationship, and just the joy that Max has when you saw that
Right.
that look where he had right there, that was very,
Yeah.
and the way he tilts his head there, that felt right. It's fun. Like I'm talking about it, I'm still getting a little emotional about it because it's just it's amazing that they did cap right there where he Max would be a little bit more embarrassed. That would have been about the only. I mean, True would have been a little bit more embarrassed. But they did a great job, and this was a great movie. I don't know.
Dude, let me tell you, it's. I cared so much about the relationship between him and his brother that the climax scene, the big action scene towards the end, when his brother gets shot, but it's in the vest.
Yeah.
But I thought for a second, oh no, please don't kill him. Please don't kill him. I thought he was gonna get killed. And I was like, dude, if y'all kill him, I'm gonna be so upset. But they didn't.
You know, well, that was a spoiler alert, by the way, guys. The scene where he gets on the, in a true, and I don't want to say John Wick, but in a true that type of movie, the action beat 'em up, bloody shoot 'em up movie. Where he gets out and he goes to pick up the animal and comes back into the car. I'm trying to leave a little bit on the bone for people who haven't seen this and might hear us talk about it. He brings it in. I thought I in my seat, and I thought I might even almost said it out loud on my lips, but I know in my head I went, if they kill him right here, I might have to get up and leave. Like I will get up and leave if they cannot ruin this because there's no way to come out of this if they kill him.
Well, when he was bending down and he was like, "Oh, come here," I knew it was an animal, but I thought a dog.
No, I knew it was because he told him what kind of person he was, and it's just. I thought the movie was great. Her character,
she pissed me off
many times, right?
Yeah, because the whole thing with her going, you got to do it by the book, and I put that in my note. She was getting mad because they was going outside the lines of what it took to get this done, and I'm just going, listen. Sometimes in life, you got to break the rules to get what you want.
Well, that's how
you can't play everything by the book.
But that's how she got the position. Is because her boss, who got her the position, also was using this. Skirting the rules to get the bust done. He knew that the value of what he was doing was more important to him as the officer. The way they kill him at the beginning too, by the way. And sorry, there's a lot of spoilers here. The way that the movie starts with nothing, nothing. Just we're going to get into it, and that set up the movie well. I thought that set up the movie well. We don't know what's happening. We're in it. I mean, I think from the first 30 seconds you're in the movie, I think you're in. Like, you're in. Like, if you saw
immediately.
Especially if you saw the first one, because you know who the character is.
Right.
And you're in it. And everything you need to know about the whole movie's in the beginning scenes.
Yeah.
And you don't know that at the time. And you're just like, in, though.
Dude, let me tell you, I had to write this down because I went, this is movie right here. So, like, I like the fact that the autistic kids at the Professor X-like academy.
Yeah, very X-Men.
Yeah, we're like Ben Affleck's Albert via Batman. Because, there's one point where he needs them to do like all this tech, and they got these big, massive computers with like these video game chairs, and they're computer hacks and all these and they're sitting there with the headsets and they're doing what and I'm just going, who paying for all this? Who's funding?
He is.
Drones?
He is.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right.
With all the money he's making from all this, is he doing the right things?
Okay.
I
forgot. Okay.
Didn't he give money at the end of the first one or something?
Yeah, he gives money, but
I remember, and in the first one, when she opens the drawer,
there's nothing
gold
but money.
bars
and then you see the action comic that's worth like $100,000, and then there's all the other stuff. The artwork that he has, he sells the artwork as he needs to. He invests and he sells. He makes money, and then he donates it to the school.
When I'm like, who the is paying for this?
In the first one, he has the 3 businesses there, and they're just laundering
drones
they're
and
laundering money. Yeah, all the money that he's making, he's using to
wait, they had drones? I thought they were hacking into systems.
No, but remember at one point there was drones.
Yeah, they hacked into the government systems. That's how they got into those drones. Oh, because they were flying around and then they lost control over them. They say we lost control. We don't have any, and they took the drones over.
Okay.
But they're hackers. But still, there's still a lot of money to be paid. But what's funny about that too, as you bring it up, is I was having a conversation with my son, and then I had a conversation recently with someone else who's autistic, and they were upset about a few things that had been said outside outside in the normie community, I guess.
Right.
And I said, no, man, you guys got to realize you are, and I've said this to my son many times. I said this to this kid this week, and I don't know how he took it, but I said, you guys are like the new X-Men, man. I mean, you are new mutants. You guys are mutants, man. You guys have a different way of processing. And because of that way of processing, you don't have some of the other characteristics that the normies have. Like you have some emotional disconnects, but you look at it. You could look at a screen the way that they look at a screen is different than us. When they process everything that's going on that screen is different. And so, yeah, I say New Mutants, and I don't mean that in a negative term. I mean, I would like
They got a gift.
Yeah, they have a gift,
Yeah.
and each one's just like the mutants that the Professor X. Everyone has a different gift. Everybody has a slightly different thing that's theirs, and so that's why I say it that way. And the kids usually, when I have this conversation, they know that I'm not coming from a negative place, so that they understand what I'm saying. And and I love that scene. That scene made me like when I saw all the kids in there, and I realized that the girl that he became friends with when he went to the school in the beginning is the one that is the background, and he's the one. She can't talk, and so who is really in charge? Is it him who's going out and making the money and being this? But she's the one without a voice. He's her voice. So that's again why I say like almost this mutant-like thing where you are working with each other to make this grand X-Men type of thing.
Yeah.
So it was really cool. I like that scene a lot.
Dude, the theater we went to, a lot of black folks. And I'm telling you, we live up to the stereotype of talking in the movies, man. A lot of nigga-isms.
Yeah.
That's right. Woo! Uh-oh. Damn. Mm-hmm. A lot of nigga-isms.
This was the perfect movie for it, though, because it didn't ruin the movie. And I got to tell you, I talked to Tara, and I said, listen, she goes, how'd you like the movie? I go, it was amazing. I go, I really want to take you to see it. She goes, oh, well, it'll be streaming in a little while. And I go, yeah, but I think this is, I go, I hope we get the same kind of experience at the movie in the city if we go to New York to watch it.
I tell you what, if you and her wait and stream it, you two need to watch it sitting on the couch, and I'll just stand behind you and go, whoa! Damn! Go on, goddamn it! So she can get that experience.
And it made the movie because the funny parts became funnier because and the crowd laughed. I mean, there was
this one black lady to me on my left, and I mean, this was cackling. I mean, cackling.
It made the movie better because it's a little subtle, but then when the comedy, when the little parts hit, it just erupted the whole audience. And I really enjoyed it. Like if I would have saw it at home, I would have enjoyed this movie.
Yeah.
But the audience enjoying it with me, and
Yeah.
I don't know, because I saw I see True in that.
Yeah.
So when they're laughing and they're getting it, I feel like good because
Yeah.
I know that my son is understood through this movie. So that's kind of some of the connection.
I think we need to rewatch Sinners at that theater.
At that theater, that was
Shit.
Did we? There wasn't any. Was there any? We were one of the few people in the movie though when we went to see Sinners, right?
Yeah, there was more. I don't think there were any black people in there when we went.
Yeah. See,
Because that was on Easter, right?
I'm gonna start making sure that I go to the city in a more black neighborhood when I go to see movies.
And let me
That
tell
was
you,
kinda-
man, that my last note, that first action scene when they're in the pizza factory, and again, you see how he's breaking down the numbers and telling the guy, I know you're doing foul here, and the guy tries to get tough with him, and he just beats the out the three dude. Man, come on, man. I get that moment when he was breaking down the numbers and using his gift. That's when I went, I've never seen this.
Yeah, I love that scene because he's saying how many large pizzas you sell, and he broke it down by the pizza slice.
Yeah.
And then the guy started to say slices, and he goes, "Well, if you had that many slices, it would have been this much."
Yeah.
And so there was no getting around this. But when he grabs that dude, and she's yelling and screaming because, "What are you doing?" And he slams him up on that table and says, "Listen, you're gonna give me you're gonna tell me whatever, or I'm gonna dislocate you."
Right.
And he goes, "And it's gonna hurt." And he goes, "Believe me, it hurts." But he says it with no emotion in that. It hurts.
I've never seen a character like this, man.
And that's what's so awesome. He goes, "And it's gonna hurt." And so then the guy doesn't say anything, and he disconnects. He goes, "I told you it was gonna hurt." And then he tries to get some more, and he goes, "I'm gonna have to." However he did it.
Remember in the first one, when the guy, when he's at that farm with the two old people, and they're in he gets into the fight with the ball guy in the pickup truck, and he chokes him and kills him with the belt. And when he's done, he looks at the old couple and just goes, waves and walks off. Man, I've never seen nothing like this, man.
And what I think is, I'm gonna give up another scene in this one. There's a beginning scene where the brother's in there, and this is why I'm saying he's not autistic, but there's some spectrumism to him as well, because when he's trying to have a conversation with this woman as he's eating ice cream,
Right.
And this is one of my I hate to give this scene away. Listen, if you haven't seen it and you don't,
it's too
I
late
know,
now.
but this scene is so good because this explains so much of the movie. None in the movie, it just explains the emotion of the movie. When he's eating that ice cream and he's talking to her, and you're like,
And you see the fear in her face.
and in this beautiful a penthouse apartment where you can see the city and the lights, and,
Yeah.
and he's talking to her, and he's having this nice conversation with a woman who's scared, like what does he have, like is he gonna kill her, is he a rapist,
Right.
like why is she so scared,
And you don't know it till he leaves.
and you don't know it. And this scene goes on for it's like 4 minutes, I think,
Yeah,
4 or 5 minutes.
yeah.
And he's talking to her, and then he gets a phone call, and he's
From his brother.
and he's having this aggravation going back and forth. And she's just, and then he comes back
Her
and she
eyes
goes,
are watered up.
She goes, "Don't kill me.
Don't hurt me.
Don't hurt me. Don't kill." Yeah, and she says it like 3 times. And he's, "Why? I'm just trying to have a nice conversation. Why would you?" And then he gets up and he walks out, and there's all these.
Yeah.
This is where he had to take out somebody. And
It's like in Equalizer 1 when Denzel's leaving the Russian's house and you just see a slew of bodies as he's walking out. Same thing.
So- and it's
Yeah.
just it's such a great scene, but it also ties in that you don't have to necessarily be autistic, but you can be on the spectrum, and you have to have some kind of spectrum issues that you would be able to sit at a table having a conversation with the person you didn't kill and not understanding why they're not understanding, and just eating ice cream while there's bodies just bleeding out.
I thought to myself, when you see a comedy with comedians, we are hired because we come with a skill set to go, in this movie, what I'm going to do is going to make you laugh. Yes, I have the words, a la the script, but me as a comedian, I'm bringing something to it to help elevate the funny, create more funny. For guys to be not comedians, serious actors, and make shit funny based on words they're given, I have a whole new respect for that. You know what I mean?
Well, and to develop the character around it.
Yeah.
Because it's not just the words; it's actually putting that character in place.
But you still have to sell that.
Yeah, you know what though? There was, and I really like this for Ben Affleck, man, because he has to find the character. There's a character, but the difficulty of the character is how to express the character, because you're taught as an actor how to use your facial emotions, how to use, and you have to get rid of that. And it reminds me of John Belushi when he did Animal House, and they took all his lines away. And they left him like 11 lines and said, "We need you to do it without saying any words."
Right.
And he has to, and this is even more difficult because now he has to limit his expressions too, and play this character in a completely different way. And I really give him a lot of credit for this. He's not going to get credit for it. It's going to go down as an action movie, but the character that he's playing, I think, is a very difficult character for an actor to play that's played all these other parts, and then to try to take this on and to embody that character. And I guess that dance scene really did it for me. It made me really go, okay, I see the character in there. There's some parts where there's connections that are weird that I think, would he do that? But I'm going off of my son. My son is just one, and as I said, there are many, many, many. Everybody's a little bit different. So yeah, I think it falls into the right character. I'm saying that I think that he should get more acclaim for this role than he's going to get.
Listen, fellas, I asked you once before, but I have to put him in the mix now. You're in an alley, and 10 guys are trying to kill you. You can only pick one to fight by your side. You got John Wick, Jack Reacher, Denzel's character from The Equalizer, Jason Bourne, James Bond, and Liam Neeson from Taken, and Ben Affleck's character. Who you fighting with? I'm going with the accountant.
I'm going with the accountant.
Yeah.
There's another reason though too.
Why?
Because one, the accountant, he's not going to stop until he's dead.
Till they're dead.
Till they're dead or he's dead.
Right.
And he evaluates everything mathematically in his head.
But so does Denzel, remember?
Denzel does too, and so does I forgot what Western movie it is, where he says, was it? I don't remember the movie, but if I say this, you might know what it is. It's when he said, "How did you know who was going to shoot first?" And he goes, and then he goes over and he goes, him and his eyes. This other one had his hand on his gun. Like he knew,
Right.
he evaluated the whole situation, knew who he had to shoot first because otherwise he wouldn't be able to. He knew in what order to
Right.
kill everyone, and that's kind of the accountant.
I'll take John Wick.
Why John Wick?
I'm not taking the accountant. He's got glasses on. If you knock his glasses off, can he see?
This guy.
I think he can see. He might not be able to read, but he can see.
He's seen John Wick defend hundreds of people.
Did you pay attention to the movie? There's a big shootout where he shoots with no glasses on, and that's a gun with aim.
All right, I'll
So he's
take
gotta be
John
able to
Wick.
see.
He's able to fend off fucking hundreds of people coming after him. He's the ultimate killer.
I might have taken his brother. What was his brother's name in this? I forgot his name.
Oh,
Braxton.
Yeah. I might take him because he took those with the bulletproof vest on. He did take 3 shots right to the chest. That was a pretty cool scene.
when it was up close?
He didn't have any more bullets, and so he had the guy so the guy couldn't move his weapon.
Right.
And he just shot him, and took the. I don't think you could actually do that. I think that would break all these bones right in there.
Yeah.
But it was a cool scene. It's a cool movie.
The Accountant 2, people, it's dope. It's dope. You got to go see it.
Want to give you some dates?
Yeah.
That's the other thing I was going to do earlier, but you stopped me. Here we go. Guys, what we got going on here?
Hey, I got to step out.
Okay. All right, I'm going to get in the center. Anthony will be happy because I'll be in the middle. Guys, dates. Hey, I need a music for dates. Where are we at? We're finishing up here. We're at Magoobies. Next week, you won't hear this until Helium Comedy Club, Buffalo, New York, May 22nd to the 25th. And then we're going to go immediately from that date, the 26th, we're going to be at Bella Rose Arts Center starting the Canadian tour will be at Bella Rose in Halifax. May 27th, the Olympia in, let's see, what does it say there? Montreal, Quebec. May 28th at the Bronson Center for the Arts in Ottawa. May 29th, the Regent's Theatre in Ontario. May 30th, Dartforth Music Hall in Toronto, Ontario. And May 31st, the Wilbur Theatre outside, back in the States, at Boston. June 6th to the 8th, we're going to be at Louisville Comedy Club. That's in Kentucky, obviously, guys, Louisville, Kentucky. June 13th to the 14th, we're going to be at the Omaha, Nebraska, Funny Bone. June 19th to the 21st, Wise Guys, our first time in Wise Guys in Las Vegas. And then June 20, sorry, I don't know if I gave out that, June 19th to the 21st, Wise Guys, Vegas. June 26th to the 28th, Olin Runs Comedy Club, Olson Run Comedy Club in Eugene, Oregon. 26th to the 28th, and July 5th, Margaritaville Resort Casino in Bossier City, Louisiana. Followed by July 12th at the Fitzgerald Theater in Minnesota in St. Paul. Guys, those are the dates. Come check us out. We're on the road almost every week for the next couple months. So if we're in your area, come check us out. Canada, please look for us out. And it's going to be a quick 1-week tour going across the country. And hopefully you'll be able to come out. I think that's all I got. Aries is out of the room. So I'll say, is that a show? That's a show.
Spears and Steinberg.
Thanks for listening to the Spears and Steinberg podcast. For more information on where to find us on the internet, visit spearsburgpod.com.